Hola, amigos, and welcome to Keyframers. I'm Stephen Shaw.
And I'm David Khourshid.
Together, we are coding compadres, animation amigos, Boolean buddies, and keyframe companions.
Yeah, so we're going to be creating an animation from scratch live using HTML, CSS, and a little bit of JavaScript. As always, we're happy to answer any questions that you may have, so please reach out in the chat, the YouTube chat, or the comments. The YouTube comments.
Yeah.
Or the code comments. I mean, there's comments there too.
There are, and we don't get nearly enough of those. I think we don't get notifications about those. Somebody should look into that. But what are we working on today here, David?
Well, we are working on a diamond slider. I thought it looked really cool. And actually, when I first saw this design by Ahmad Suleiman, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, from Plain Things Studio, I honestly thought it was like one of those NFT type of things, just because it looks so crisp and expensive and clear.
Yeah.
But what really drew my attention was the slider interaction at the bottom right, actually.
Yeah, this little diamond area, kind of a, I guess it's a diamond, a crystal, whatever. But yeah, that's quite cool. So as I don't like that there's no indicator before you tap it, but I guess there is. So anyway, yeah, you tap it, a little diamond comes up, shows you the current value, and you can drag it back and forth, and it's a little bit of physics almost. It feels like, you know, it's kind of gives a little bit of that effect at least. But yeah, this is super cool. So we're gonna try and recreate that here, and we haven't fully discussed how we're going to do that.
That's what makes it a challenge. Yeah,
this will be a fun process for us. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining along with us. Yeah, so how would you like to start? I'd like to just focus on that slider itself, rather than, you know, the rest of the app setup. You know, we can do like the quantity or whatever, but
yeah, sure. And the rest of it shouldn't be too hard. So I actually, when I saw this, I was reminded of something that I did a while ago. Granted, it was with RxJS, and I don't think we want to go that far, but I'll put it in the YouTube chat. It was this reactive time frame concept, also from a dribble. And it was one of those things where you could just drag it back and forth, and the slider smoothly followed your mouse as you dragged it, and also the numbers updated pretty smoothly. But again, we don't need all of our RxJS for this. I don't think, you know, that's really necessary. And at the same time, I don't think we need to do any sort of I don't know, calculations for like what's the velocity, etc. And that's because what we could do is use our old friend lerp. Yeah. And do some lerp animations and make this go smoothly too. And so what's interesting in the slider animation, instead of applying lerp to the actual position of the slider, you apply it to the angle of the diamond. So you're just moving it to somewhere else. Or you know, you could even do it to both. Right, and so the lerp becomes like the actual value minus the lerp's value becomes like what the angle of the diamond is. And that way the math becomes really easy. We don't have to figure out like velocity or acceleration or anything like that.
Yeah. All right. So overall, we will need kind of an input type equals range, right? We'll just kind of map onto that. And are we going to style that natively or hide it?
So first we're going to, we're not going to, I don't think we'll style it natively. I am not sure. Just because that would be pretty tough to do. So we'll have to figure out how to do it. I mean, we very well could, but we need to have that position somewhere in that anyway. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, so if we do, so we've got a little diamond slider wrapper here. We can set here. So let's say slider, we can set that input there, input range to block with 100%. And we could, you know, just completely hide it, essentially. Let's see. Are you trying to center, racing me to center?
I am trying to center, but it's not doing the thing that I wanted to do. All right.
So now our range should be the full width of it. So if we're doing like a min and a max, you know, the far right will be the max and the far left will be the min. So we should be able to track the position kind of that way, as long as we know those values.
I'm gonna give that an ID just so we could reference it.
Yeah.
A query selector. Slider. I could do get element by ID, but that's so much more verbose to write. So that's why in our episodes you'll see us just do query selector or query selector all, because it's two things you need to remember instead of umpteen different selector methods that you need to think of.
Yeah.
So lslider.add events listener. Now, from people coming from React world, you might think it's change, but it's not change. It's actually inputs. And that's one of the frustrating things about React is it really like just threw out the whole concept of on inputs, even though that's a more accurate way of handling change. Anyway, it's just my 2 cents. That's .log e.target.value. So now, hopefully, when we move the slider, at least in the console, we could see the change in value, and we do. It's a number between, seems like 0 and 100.
Yeah, I think the default min-max is 0 and 100.
That's fine. And interestingly enough, it comes as a string, and that's just the ECMAScript standard. Even though, like, even if you have a number input, like, it's still going to come back as a string. So that's something that might bite you. Keep that in mind when working with number inputs. So we have that. Now we actually need something to show the output, like the dollar value.
Yeah.
I'm going to be semantic and actually make it output element. So ID equals output. Believe it or not, that's an actual elements.
Yeah, we can move that up in here too. Kind of keep everything grouped. Our little diamond slider container there.
L output dot inner HTML equals, and then we could just say e.target dot value. You know, just see what it is.
Yeah, I'll say that.
So that works. There we go. Who needs React?
Yeah,
that all works pretty well, and you know, we'll just start that at its initial state of 0. Maybe make that bigger. So font size to rem, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the essentials there. That's nice.
Yeah. Oh, I was wondering why text align right center wasn't working. You do have to do display block. I think by default it's an inline or inline block elements. I forget which one. It's one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. So yeah, we'll say slider there. Got output there. All right. So one thing I did was I applied the value as a CSS variable. I feel like we're going to need that for some of it, but that we'll probably actually do that in the lerping, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we get into that, we could do like a custom style for it. see.
Yeah, feel free.
So let's do wrapper. Let's say div.
So I'm gonna add the lerping code while you do that. Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking here is we'll have the slider overlay kind of wrapping around this, and then we'll make the range kind of that full element there, and then we'll add if class equals, let's see, say here, what's a good name for like the little dot?
Slider thumb tracker, something like that.
Slider sure. Slider
yeah.
Okay.
Hello, Montana and Daily Meow. It's Daily Meow like cat facts.
Yes, I hope so. Daily Meow's been hanging out with us quite a bit. I love the username. I wish I knew more of who that was. Thanks for joining us so much. It's nice to have you.
It's a mystery.
All right, so for our slider, I'm going to do display grid, and our grid template areas, we'll say layer, and then everything underneath, we're going to say grid area layer. This is our grid layering technique, as simplified as we've gotten it, and Stephanie Eccles did a great write-up on that that you should find. But yeah, this allows us to do something like, so slider input, we can go ahead and say like opacity 0.1. So we can just kind of see it, but we're not focusing on it. Users will be able to interact with it, but it won't visibly be there. We can say as equals slider track. Track, and then yeah, we'll say slider. There we go. Say height 5 pixels, background a radius 5 pixels. Give us a nice little rounded track there.
Cool. By the way, while you're doing that, I'm just working on the lerping. It's probably going to be one of the big parts of this that make it all work. So, yeah. Let's see. And then we'll talk about lerping. We've done lerping, not lerping in previous episodes, but like years ago, probably. Yeah, long time ago. So.
Yeah, it's been a while. To find that episode and link it up. Say, do you have that orange color ported over?
I don't. Well, let me grab it real quick. I'm going to just call it color primary. Here, let me add to the roots. Get some CSS variables in here. There's your color.
Okay, color primary. Nice. That's better.
Yeah.
I'll say var color primary. And so what I'm going to do now, so we can have this thumb actually tracking in the right spot in our event listener here. So we've got the value. Let's say let min equals e.target.get attribute min. Say let max equals e.target.get attribute max, because we're going to do some calculations here. We can say, oh boy, what's the math here? So let d equal let's see. What's going to be the math for getting in the range there? So min.
Good question. I'm no help.
Value divided by n plus. I don't know. That will probably work for the 0 value, but probably not in general. We'll refine that a little bit. Say D to D. Anyone who knows math, feel free to chime in. We'll say calc dash x bar D times %. And what we'll do here, actually move this up in here into a pseudo element, say before intent. Sure that this is width 100%, so that our translate x is accurate there, and then a block. Okay. Hey. It's already working. That's great.
Good.
Yeah, we'll say transform, translate x.
Oh, cool. Go ahead and open the console while you do that.
Yes, I have the console open. So, okay, we're getting some lerp happening there.
Yes,
That's
you
great.
are.
Okay, so where is that lerp happening?
So that lerp, I created a lerper. Yeah, that's sort of my term. It's one who interpolates, or one which interpolates. Basically, it's just keeping the internal states, so the target and the current, and it's returning an object with one method, which is update. I have it like that because there's going to be another method you'll see soon. And so whenever you send it a value, it does all the math and it lerps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what the plan is, this create lerper, you could add a method like on change or on whatever, or just even subscribe. And then you get those values, like the lerps values, and you could do whatever you want with them. So you could like assign them to a CSS variable. You could, you know, just update them however you please.
Yeah, so you're doing lerper update value. Okay, so we could actually, yeah. Let's see, we can do that. Let's see. So the D calculation is what there, but I guess we can let's see.
So what are you doing with the D and min max stuff?
So what I'm doing there is calculating what essentially the decimal of that value is, so that we can use that for translating the thumb and the diamond to the proper positions. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So the math is probably horribly wrong there, but it is basically correct. And we can refine that a little bit.
Okay. No problem.
So yeah, wherever we need to set that. Okay, so you're adding servers. Fun.
Yeah, this is like your like RxJS Lite. Actually, there is an RxJS Lite that just, trust me, this makes things really, really simple. And I'll explain it. But basically, we're giving it the ability to, just like with any API, you would expect to be like on change or on this, you know, and just pass it a callback, right? And then, you know, subscribe to those updates. So we're just adding that functionality in here in the simplest way possible. Actually, it could be simpler, but the second to simplest way possible.
Yeah.
So function, and so we always want to give it the current value, so not the target value, because obviously it knows the current value. And so now over here, instead of my console.log currents, I'm just going to say observers.forEach observer, and I'm just going to call observer with the current value. And that's it. That's your subscription system right there.
Okay, nice.
So now what we could do is let's see, we could, so lslider.add events listener. Oh yeah, so we could say lerper.subscribe. And so whenever we get the updated, I'm going to call it smooth value. I'm really bad naming today. Mondays, am I right? Actually, it's Tuesday. So whenever we get the smooth value, we're going to say console.log and smooth value. So now, notice I'm not doing any console.logs in here or in add event listener. But now, if you look at the console, you're going to see that those smooth values are updated because we're just subscribing to it. So it's just a really simple way of doing that. And look, no libraries.
Yeah, that's awesome. Right, so we can move some of this logic in there. Here, should probably do min and max out here. Do L slider get attribute slider.get attribute, and I'll set those as const. Where my cursor went, there we go. Const, and we'll say smooth value by minute. Right, so in theory, hey, nice. It's definitely smooth. It's great.
Sweet. I'm surprised that all of that just worked.
For the first time. That's great. Yeah, that's super cool. All right, so lerper.update.
So now to get the, we have the smooth value, but honestly, I want the target value as well because we need to do some calculations. The target value minus the smooth value, that's going to determine the angle of the diamond.
Yeah.
So, you know, let's just give that from create lerper, make it, one convenient spot. I'm
working on a little diamond for us, just making a SVG and SVG.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we're gonna have currents and targets. Yeah, so currents, targets, and so we're here, currents, targets. And now smooth value, that's going to be currents, smooth value, just so that nothing breaks. Let me see if that works real quick.
Something's
broken. Wait, sorry, I am babbling wrong. There we go. Okay, yeah, everything still works. And so we could even change this to say currents just to make things a little less confusing. So now you have both the currents and the target values. And so you could do target minus current and get your angle.
Base real quick. There we go. Exporting a diamond for us. So I did a diamond in Affinity Designer real quick, just a beautiful little diamond shape. Passing it through SVGO. Drop it in here. Whoa. That is not simplified. Let's see if that. Yeah, I'll work on that. You keep going.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just keyframer. There we go. Just adding some text over here. Keyframer crystal pyramid coming to a swag store near you. We'll see.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have our diamond, and now that you have it on here, I could actually animate it, etc. And I'm also going to do the angle calculation. So what's D for again? Currents divided by min max?
Yeah, so it's essentially, yeah, the 0 to 1 value of.
Oh, okay.
Of
so the normalized value.
Right.
So okay.
Yeah, you can change that however you want. It's just that's what I got so far. All right, so let's.
Okay. Well, so I'm going to make const tilt equals just target minus current. I was going to use d as in delta, but let's do tilt because it's for the tilt. And so now I'm going to set a property over here. You know, I made a library called arccss a very long time ago that just made it really easy to add CSS variables like that. I sort of miss it just because this is a bit cumbersome. Tilts, because you could only add them one at a time, which, you know, tiny bit annoying. But so, okay, you're doing translate X. Just for fun, I'm going to do rotate calc var tilt. And so var tilt is going to give us a.
Well, we can do that. We can do that on the SVG itself. You don't want to.
Oh, okay. Oh wow, it's not doing what I want it to do, but it's working, except not working. So yeah, that calculation should probably just go on the SVG.
We probably want something like rotate X. Oh yeah, because it's.
Oh wait, why did I do rotate X?
I did that.
Oh.
Let's see. Yeah, so it needs to go the opposite way, so negative degrees.
Yeah, and the origin needs to be from the bottom too.
Right. Yeah, that's easy enough. Transform origin, bottom center.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Wow.
Very nice. Fill var color primary.
Yeah. It's funny. It goes crazy when you go from one end to the other. But
does it? Oh yeah. Well, bit. So yeah, we can. Yeah, we can tone down the amount that it tilts, but we might just want to target minus current. Yeah, we might just want to change that in the this. We can also use D for that. Well, no, not D. Target minus current. Yeah, that's the kind of speed there. Yeah, math wise, we could make that you know, another kind of decimal value. So target minus current divided by target. No, that's.
Yeah, that's a little bit weird.
Yeah. Well, we can set can set a maximum. Let's see. Do f.min. I don't know. Probably 10. Or yeah, that helps a little bit. Just preventing a value from jumping too much. Nice.
Yeah. Actually, that money thing was a lot easier to do than you might think. JavaScript does have some built-in currency formatting, so I just use that.
That's very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we need to probably add some overflow, because when things start translating, it gets a little wild. Let's see, slider track, slider.
Thomas says, I didn't expect you to get the tilting to work so fast. Yeah, so that's one of the really cool things about lerp. It's like one of the most, I don't want to say underused. In fact, it is used a lot. Not GSAP though, which I wish it were, because GSAP is based on easings. So, but it's one of the most used animation techniques just in general, outside of JavaScript, etc. And it makes things like this really, really easy. So, yeah.
Any suggestions for a different approach with translating those things so that we don't get overflows? Just do overflow on the app.
I mean, the way it is right now is cool. No.
Well, so yeah, I'm getting scroll bars. I remove the padding there. Or if I remove the overflow there.
Okay, import this over. Poppins. Have you ever used that font?
Poppins. Can't say that I have.
Yeah, like Mary Poppins. Let's try that. I like it.
Yeah, it's good to me. Let's see. Slider. The start. The end. Not. Oh, right. Box sizing here because it's a pseudo element. There we go. And we can set the diamond here. We can say S0, position, seconds linear. Let's see. Say on the parent, our slider here, that's hovering, focused. Set the slider diamond to opacity 1. Should, yeah, brings it up. Say transition delay seconds, and we can say transition delay here 1 second so that it stays in place, then fades out after you've hovered. yeah, we can set our slider input all the way to 0, set height 100%, make sure it takes up the bit with 100%, x2.
Checking the video again, just seeing what's done. So instead of feeding in and out, I think it just scales up and down. If you want to try that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say, that stinks. Let's say scale 0, and then we have to copy this here.
I just realized there's a diamond slider class and a slider diamond class.
I know it yeah, that's naming things is not our
no,
our forte. Let's see. Okay. But we can't do transform there. Annoying. So we got to add another wrapper in here. Slider diamond inner. Then we'll add the padding there, or the scale animation there. Say slider diamond. Form. Say form scale 0. Down here, slider diamond inner. Form scale 1. And make sure that from the bottom center as well.
Okay, wow, I didn't realize how tough it was to style HTML5 ranges. I'm trying to style the track, and yeah, hopefully I'm going to give it, pseudo elements.
Well, so that's what the slider track element is for. You can style that however you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's already partially done.
For adding that. There we go. And then the slider thumb.
Yeah, is the circle.
What's a class name for that one? Oh, it's literally slider thumb.
Slider thumb, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you can move that up if you want.
Yeah, let's just make it. It's a bit big.
I think your fonts are different than mine. Oh, you're using rem there. Everything else is using M, so.
Okay, I gotta get with the program.
Yeah. Let's see, why is our diamond not centered there? Do it. Sir.
Daily Meow is saying high Z index for the diamond. We want to add that. And let's see, hold on. There's okay, slider. Where's the diamond? There's the diamond. So I'm gonna unnest slider diamond and slider diamond inner, or maybe I shouldn't. Oops. Just kidding. Okay, I just won't touch. I was collapsing things to help, but not helping. It's making things worse.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the case. Okay, so slider diamond. We're almost there on this. Let's just set app over. Yeah, that helps. Okay, what is high?
So are you? Oh wait. Geez, I'm getting confused. Okay, so const L slide. I'm just gonna call it L. No, L slider diamond, because that's what it is, equals document.query selector. In the original animation, it actually has the quantity in the diamond, which is easy to add. I just got to reference that HTML element. And so whenever we change the value, actually, should we, yeah, forgot to do this. We have value 0, min 0, max 15 step equals 1. So that way we can't do fractional things. It's still going to be smooth. Actually, it's not working right now because actually it's probably my fault.
I got it.
Oh, nice. So now whenever the value changes, we could just say L slider diamond dot inner HTML equals e dot target dot value. All right, so
that's going to kill our. We need an actual component there. Yeah, Daniel, in the chat saying.
Sorry.
That's what I did.
Dot data set. You know what? Well, let's do this dot data set dot value. We're gonna use data sets because that's better. And I could just say attribute data value. And so now, cool, it works.
Nice. Where is that all set up? Slider diamond.
Okay. Yeah. So now we just have to like color white, font weight bold, text align center. Or we should probably center it using some other technique than that.
Yeah. Let's see. In bottom negative.
I was going to translate it. That's old school. no, that works too. We might need to bump up the Z index.
Yeah. Let's see.
If 1 doesn't work, just go to 10,000. There's no in between.
Just do black for now.
Oh, so it's still up there. That's probably what the problem is. We just need to bring it down a bit. Position absolute or something like that. Or actually, just kidding. Display block. So it doesn't respect the whole positioning thing unless it's why is it all the way to the right?
Because now it's full width. We probably need to set it on slider diamond inner, and then it will scale. So the problem is all these different transforms we're doing on so many different elements. So it starts becoming a bit of a mess.
So slider diamond inner, that's the one that rotates and stuff?
Well, the SVG itself rotates, but we can probably move this up here.
Let me just adjust the JavaScript. So is it slider / diamond / inner?
Dash inner, yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's a simple change. And I'm actually going to call it quantity just to. Okay, now the diamond needs a little bit of adjusting. But
yeah, let's see. Well, the value too seems still off, but we can say. Let's see, play block display.
This is so much fun to drag around.
It is. I always do those. I always do grid area in quotes because that's what grid template layer does, but it's not proper.
I know that gets me too.
Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Pretty much there. Just needs a little margin. Like that, to bump it up a little bit from the diamond bottom. Yep, there we go. Now I can switch back to color white. It's still, so that stinks. So the rotation, let's see, we got to do it on both of those elements. So let's say, there we go. Do transform or rotate like that, and we'll do that on the SVG itself too. Let's see if that works, because we're doing a transition on the scale there. Missing a semicolon. Always important. It's so close. Let's say.
Oh yeah.
Now, so let's see. Slider thumb. We could actually do slider diamond inside of slider. And that might reduce the number of repeating elements there. But yeah, it's close, but that it's funny. Let's see, slider diamond inner, slider thumb. Slider.
I actually like the effects where it's, slightly cutting off.
Sure, we'll go with it for now. Yeah, let's take off our console log. Just at least comment that out. Things a little cleaner. Let's see. Let's see. What are you setting that at the data set value?
Where am I doing what?
You're setting L quantity data set value. What is that? L quantity. Okay. So
that's the what goes inside the diamond.
0. Let's give it a default there. Say give the input here.
Yeah, or one of those like left to right cursors.
Sure.
Yeah, that doesn't matter, but yeah.
I think it's resize horizontal. No, I always forget. I gotta look it up here. CSS cursor. Just forget the values. Let's see. There's always grab and grabbing. EW resize. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. It's looking good.
Also do grab this thing.
I guess this is useful if you're not using Reactor View or anything else in your app and you just want that simple interaction. What's funny is, oh, I like the grab a lot.
Yeah, that feels nice.
It does, yeah. More natural for sure. Yeah.
In the chat, Daniel is asking any reason on using function versus const update.
No.
No, not. I always lean towards using an actual function unless it's just actually cleaner to do a arrow function, or you don't want the this kind of implications that come with doing a real function. Yeah, I always lean towards using function purely for stylistic reasons.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's so fun. All right, so with your lerping, okay, you've got your value set there. Fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to breaking this one down.
Yeah, it's a tiny bit different than the original animation, but I think it's more fun.
Yeah, it's appropriate. And we can add little things to like the thumb changing when it's active. Let's see. So let's say header input class here. Header input. Grab active. Grabbing, just moving all this here. We can say slider 4. Let's see. That's set up. That. Say slider thumb. Yeah, we can say position form 0.2 seconds out, and we can say transform scale 0.8 when you're actually active. Should give slider input.
Oh, no. Wait, what happened to the grabby hands?
I'm working on it.
Ah, okay.
There we go.
Sweet, there we go. Nice.
Say instead of that, we could say border width 5em. Transition that. Yeah.
That feels nice. Really nice.
It does. Get 6. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Anything else on this one?
No, I think we're good.
I think stylistically we pretty much got it. It's not identical, but it's definitely in the same spirit and very fun to play with. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, so there's a few things to break down here.
Oh yeah.
The primary thing being the lerp approach. I guess the independent transforms
Yeah.
And that should cover most of it.
Yeah, and those are two big things too.
So. Right. Those are big topics, but yeah. We'll try to make them succinct here.
All right.
Okay, cool. So yeah, let's do that. So thanks for watching, everyone. Stick with us. We're going to do some summaries, kind of break down some of these techniques to be a little more understandable. So hang with us. We'll be right back. Hold on. Hola, amigos, and welcome to Keyframers. I'm Stephen Shaw.
And I'm David Khourshid.
Let's break down a nice technique from this diamond slider animation.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the lerp technique, and we had a little bit of setup in the JavaScript in order to do that. But the good news is that there are 0 libraries here, so you could just literally copy and paste this code and get it working in wherever. Yeah, with just the JavaScript on hand built into the browser. So what happens is we're creating a lerper, and that's where all the magic happens. So this lerper is what I like to call an actor. So just think of it
before we get too deep. Lerp is short for linear interpolation.
Yes, lerp is short for linear interpolation. And let me explain real quick how lerp works. Let's say that you want to go between 0 and 1. So with lerp, you calculate each step as an interpolation between the current value, which is 0, and the target value, which is 1. And you do it by a fraction. So let's make it 0.5 just to make things easy. So the first lerp value would be halfway between 0 and 1, or 0.5. Then the next value is going to be halfway between that new value and the target value, so 0.75. Then 0.825, et cetera, et cetera. And so you could see it gets closer and closer to 1, and it makes a really nice smooth curve. Now, when both the current value and the target value are close enough, because with that map, they're never exactly going to be equal, but when they're close enough where it's imperceivable, in this case, when it's less than 0.01 difference, then we're just going to return the target value and say, hey, we basically reached the target. So that's how the lerp function works. It's all of 4 lines or 5 lines of code.
Smoothly transitioning between 2 values in like a request animation frame loop is essentially where you use lerp to kind of ease things without a traditional easing function.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, lerp it's a classic. It always looks really, really nice. So that's why it's a go-to for, like, if you see 3JS animations and stuff like that, they're going to use lerp a lot. It's very simple to implement, and it looks very nice. So my lerper is, I like to call it an actor. And so an actor can do a few things. It could receive stuff, and it could send out stuff. And it doesn't have to do both of those 2 things at the same time. So what it's receiving is the input from this range slider that we set up. And what it's sending out are those lerped values, where it's lerping it on every animation frame. And so whenever you call updates on this lerper, which is, let's see, where am I doing it? Oh yeah, lerper.update in this update function, we're starting the whole animation process. We're calculating each of those lerp values, and on every animation frame, we're telling all of our subscribers, which I'll get to in a minute, we're telling all of our subscribers what the current value is as we're moving closer to the target, and we're also giving it the target value for convenience. And so in lerper.subscribe over here, we're basically saying whenever those values change, I want to be notified with them so that I could do something with those values. So all of that animation logic is in the lerper. And so we don't have to worry about it. We just have to worry about, we're going to get those values. We need to do something with them. And the something that we do is we assign them to CSS variables, and there's also some putting them in inner HTML for the price and stuff like that. But yeah, once we have those in CSS variables, we can now animate things like the angle of the diamond and the position of the thumb in the tracker.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a nice way to track a value and smoothly transition between it using that lerp function. And the whole subscribe interface is just really nice to be able to keep track of those changes. So nice setup on that. That's really nice and makes for a fun way to to get that working.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at independent transforms. We've done this kind of stuff in a lot of different episodes where stacking transforms is really good, but it can be kind of limiting because there's a lot of different variables that go into having more than one transform function in a transform declaration. So for this animation, there's a lot going on. We're making our own slider, so we do have a range input, but it's essentially hidden. We have opacity 0 on it so that we can custom style all of our elements, because trying to actually tap into the browser styling for those things is difficult and wouldn't really help us with the diamond setup. So we have our track. And then the thumb is this little circle thing, and we've got the diamond that kind of pops up. And so David already broke down in another video how we use the lerper here to actually update these values based on the range sliders value. And we're passing those values through as CSS variables. So we've got one for the tilt, basically how fast it's moving. And we have the actual value passing through that I don't think we're using, and then we have D, which is essentially like the decimal value of where it is between the min and the max. So 0 is all the way to the left, and 1 is all the way to the right. So we use those stacking the transforms. Let's see here. The simplest spot we do that is with the slider thumb. So we have everything kind of stacked on top of each other. Everything is essentially with the 100%. And this slider thumb, we're translating by 100% times that decimal value. So it'll be anywhere from 0 to 100%. And that gets us in the right position for that little thumb that we're actually rendering as a pseudo element. So if we add outline solid 1pix hot pink here, you can see this slider thumb element going back and forth, but the actual little thumb here is just rendered at the start of it. And we do that same kind of thing for the diamond itself. It's width 100% and it's position absolute, so it comes up off the bottom there, and it's transforming in the same way. And then the inner element, we've got kind of a wrapper happening. So there's slider diamond inner, and then the actual like diamond SVG shape happening there. So the slider diamond is what actually positions everything. So if we say, again, outline solid 1pix hot pink, we can see that getting that translating back and forth. And then there's this effect from the original animation. When you're hovering over it, the diamond kind of appears. And so we needed to split that transform out because we need to transition it. So we've got transition transform here. We can make that a little fancier with ease in and out. And we're going from scale 0 to scale 1 whenever it's hovered and focused. And that's a very simple transform, but it can't be stacked with the other transform in the same transform declaration because we need to transition it, and we can't independently transition the transforms. We want this one to, the top level one, to stay in sync with our lerp function that's smoothly transitioning those values already. And we want the other one to just be a CSS transition. And then we're also independently handling the tilt back and forth via this rotate here. So we've got our tilt value that's coming from the lerper times 10 degrees, and the before it that's showing that value, and the SVG are both using that to transform back and forth. And these aren't transitioned in CSS either because that value is coming from the lerper. So we kind of have to add wrappers, use multiple elements and multiple different transform declarations in order to get the right kind of effects, because we're feeding values from JavaScript and we're doing CSS transitions as well. So things can get a little complex there, but as you start to separate things out, it can also make things a little bit clearer as far as like what is handling what. And yeah, so all of those things come together and make this nice little diamond slider.
Yeah, and then not too much JavaScript either.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Anything less than 100 lines is, good in my book.
Yeah. And, apologies for the naming of everything. We go into this all pretty fresh from scratch. So things kind of evolve over time and, end up a little messy sometimes. But, hey, we got the effect there in less than an hour. And, you can always go back and refactor once you have the concept out there. So, cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You want to hit the outro for us, David?
Sure thing. You can watch the full process of creating this animation for a deeper dive into each technique on the full live stream linked right below. And leave us a comment if you have any questions.
Our show is supported by our sponsors, CodePen at codepen.io, CSS Tricks at css-tricks.com, Stately at stately.ai, and viewers like you. You can pledge at patreon.com/keyframers and subscribe to our channel for more great content. We've got plenty of links for you below. That's all we have for you for now. Thanks for watching. Until next time, adios, amigos.
Adios.